Most business owners don't realize this. They didn't just build a business, they built a prison. For years, I was one of them, working 60, 80 hours a week, exhausted, stuck in the operations, constantly putting out fires. Yes, I was making money, but no freedom, no time, and no space to actually lead. And that's exactly why I created the Freedom Business Liberation System. The Freedom Business Liberation System is the exact step-by-step framework I use to build multiple multi-million-dollar companies and step out of the day-to-day operations in every single one of them. It's a proven path that takes you from being the bottleneck to becoming a strategic, empowered leader with a business that runs without you. It's built on these 7 pillars. Welcome back. In our last video, we covered D. Delegate effectively and trust. You learned the delegation decision framework, how to build trust systems, and how to overcome psychological barriers that keep you from delegating. Today, we're moving on to O. Optimize autonomously, which is where everything we built so far comes together. Here's the moment of truth. Autonomous operations means your business runs, grows, and improves without requiring your constant energy. This isn't a theory. This is the accumulation of face, restructure, establish, empower, and delegate. By the end of this video, you'll know how to build contingency plans so nothing critical depends on a single person. You'll learn how to develop leadership depth with multiple layers of capability and design dashboards that give you visibility without constant involvement. This is freedom. Let's get into it. Here's the test. Can you leave your business for 2 weeks? No phone calls, no emails, no involvement, and then return to find it operating smoothly? For most business owners, the answer is always a no. Why is that? Because they have built a business that depends entirely on them being the engine. You might have delegated some tasks, you might have hired good people, but if you're still the one everyone goes to for decisions, if you're still the safety net catching every problem, if you're still the glue that holding everything together, you don't have autonomous operations. You have dependency. Here's the hard truth. A business that needs you to function isn't a business. It's an expensive job that happens to employ other people. And that job owns you. You can't scale it. You can't exit it. You can't enjoy it. Without autonomous operations, all the work that you have done in videos 1 through 5 gets you halfway there. You're less overwhelmed, but you're still trapped. Autonomous operations are where you break free internally. Your team doesn't just execute tasks, they delegate, they think, they adapt, they solve problems, and they improve the systems without you being involved. That's what we're building today. Let me talk about eliminating single points of failure. Right now, if I asked you, if your top salesperson left tomorrow, what breaks? You probably have a long list. That person holds all the relationships, knows the processes, has all the skills. And if they're gone, you're scrambling. That is a single point of failure, and it's dangerous. Here's the framework. Identify every critical function in your business. For each one, ask yourself, if a person doing this disappeared tomorrow, what breaks? If the answer is everything, you have a problem. The solution is redundancy, cross-training, documentation, and backup capability. Let's break this down. First, you're going to document the process. If it only exists in somebody's head, it leaves when they leave. Create SOPs, standard operating procedures, that capture how things should be done. Not 50-page manuals nobody's going to read. Simple, clear documentation that somebody could follow without asking questions. Second, you're going to cross-train your team. The person who handles client onboarding should train somebody else to handle it. Not as a replacement, but as a backup. That way, if they're on vacation, sick, or gone, somebody else can step in without chaos. This applies to every critical function: sales, operations, finance, and client success. Third, build leadership depth. Single layer leadership is very fragile. If your only operations manager leaves, you're back to chaos. Multi-layer leadership, what this means is senior leaderships are developing junior leaders. Everyone is mentoring someone. There's a succession plan for key roles, not because you expect people to leave, but because you're prepared if they do. Think about the air traffic controller analogy. Right now, you're the controller, and every plane has to land on your runway. Autonomous operations mean building multiple runways, training other controllers, and creating protocols so planes can land safely without everything routing through you. Here's a concrete example. In my events company, I used to be the only one who could handle vendor negotiations. If a vendor problem came up during an event, they called me. Even if I was at another venue, or even if it was midnight, everything came to me. That's not scalable. I documented the negotiation process, what to say, when to compromise, and when to escalate. I trained 3 people on it. I gave them the authority to make decisions up to a certain threshold. Suddenly, vendor issues got solved at every event without my involvement. That's autonomous operations. Nobody is irreplaceable, including myself. That is the goal. Let me tell you about the moment I realized I'd actually built autonomous operations. It was 2022. My wife Emily and I took a 3-week trip to Europe. No work, no laptop, phone in airplane mode except checking in with the family. Before we left, I was anxious. We had 2 significant events while I was gone. A new hire started some vendor contracts coming up for renewal. Old me would have had to cancel the trip or work the whole time. But I've spent 2 years building the systems we're talking about in this program. Documented processes, cross-trained team, depth of leadership, and clear accountability. I told my team, you guys got this. You make the decisions. If something catastrophic happens, then call me. Otherwise, handle the little problems. And then I left. Completely unplugged for 3 weeks. Here's what happened. Nothing. And I mean that in the best way. The events ran beautifully. The new hire got correctly onboarded. The vendor contracts got negotiated and signed. Problems did come up, as they always do, but my team solved them. They didn't need me to function. They required me to trust them, which I did. When I came back, I asked my ops manager, how did it go? She said, honestly, we missed you as a person, but the business ran great. We knew what to do because the systems are solid, and we had the authority to execute. That was the moment I knew I had achieved freedom. My business wasn't dependent on me being the engine anymore. I'd become the architect who designed a machine that runs itself. And that machine, those systems, that team, that culture was operating autonomously. But here's what made that possible. It wasn't magic. It was 2 years of doing exactly what I'm teaching in this program. Facing reality, restructuring your systems, establishing your leadership, empowering your leadership team, delegating effectively, and now operating autonomously. Each pillar is built on the previous one. You can have this too, but you have to do the work. You have to build the systems, trust your team, and let go of the control. That's what autonomous operations require. Now let's talk about visibility without involvement. This is critical. Autonomous operations don't mean you're in the dark. It means you have systems that keep you informed without requiring you to be in the middle of everything. The tool for this is dashboards and scorecards. These are simple reports, weekly or monthly. They'll show you the health of your business at a glance. You're not tracking every detail. You're tracking the metrics that truly matter. Revenue, profit, client satisfaction, team performance, and operational efficiency. Here's what a good dashboard looks like. 1 page, 5 to 10 key metrics, traffic light system. Green means good, yellow means attention needed, red means a problem. You review it in your meetings every Friday. If everything's green, you know the business is healthy and you can focus on strategy. If something's yellow or red, you need to dig in. Not to solve it yourself, but to ensure your team has what they need to solve it. This is leadership without micromanagement. You're not asking, hey, what did you do today? You're asking, how are we tracking against our goals? What obstacles need my attention? There's a big difference. One is exhausting and demoralizing. The other is strategic and empowering. Now, continuous optimization. Autonomous operations don't mean systems never change. It means your team is constantly improving them without needing you to dive in every improvement. You've built a culture where people ask, how can I do this better? And they have the authority to implement improvements. Here's the framework. Regular retrospectives. Monthly or quarterly, your team reviews what's working and what's not working. They identify the bottlenecks, inefficiencies, or new opportunities. They propose changes. You can improve or decline, and they execute the improvement. This creates a self-optimizing business, always getting better, constantly adapting, without requiring your daily involvement. This connects to everything. In restructure, you built the initial systems. In establish, you became the leader who oversees rather than operates. In empower, you built a team capable of independent execution. In delegate, you gave them absolute authority. Now in optimize, you've created the mechanisms for visibility and optimization that makes autonomy sustainable. The business runs itself and improves itself. That's true freedom. Think about a marathon analogy. You started running at a sprint pace with no finish line in sight. You were exhausted. You've built a vehicle, your business, with systems and leadership that carries you forward while you sit in the driver's seat steering directions. You're moving forward without the grind. Start here. Create a one simple page dashboard this week. Pick 5 to 7 metrics that show business health. Track them weekly for 1 month. See what you learned. That's visibility without involvement. Great work today. You just learned the 6th pillar of freedom. Optimize autonomously. You now understand how to build contingency plans, develop leadership depth, create dashboards and visibility, and continuously optimize systems. That's letter O in freedom. You're almost through the complete foundation. This is where it all comes together. You faced reality, restructured systems, established your leadership, empowered your team, delegated effectively, and now you're operating autonomously. Your business is starting to function without you being the engine. You're seeing glimpses of absolute freedom. Keep going. Next up is M. Multiply your impact. This is where we'll cover strategic growth planning, exit strategies, legacy principles, and leader multiplication. This is the accumulation of foundation, taking your freedom and multiplying your impact beyond just yourself. I'll see you there. Congratulations. You've completed the Freedom Business Liberation System. At this point, you have all the tools. You have the framework. You have what you need to implement the Freedom System on your own. But here's the real question you need to ask yourself. Do you have the accountability to actually work through every single pillar and execute the practical applications inside your business, even when you get busy or distracted or you hit resistance? I want to give you one option that will accelerate everything you just learned. If you want the accountability and real-time support, there's an additional resource that includes 8 weeks of Zoom coaching with me. We'll go pillar by pillar, week by week, focused on the practical implementation. What to do first, what to do next, and you can bring all your questions, your real situations, and your real roadblocks. I'll walk you through it so you're not guessing and you don't stall out. If you're ready to move faster with clarity and accountability, click the link below and I'll see you on the first call.